This month, we are talking about learning to trust young children. And the second guided reflective prompt is: how does mistrust show up in schedules, transitions, and behavior management? This reminds me of a very important lesson I learned when I was a preschool director in San Diego. One day I noticed one of the teachers outside with two boys who had yet to return to the classroom. I assumed she was trying to get them to go inside, and it appeared as though they were ignoring her. So I stepped in and said, "If you don't go inside now, you will not get to go outside tomorrow." I had learned this from my time as a public school teacher, and I thought it would be the perfect way to coerce them into making the right choice. The teacher gently told me, "We don't do that here." And I said, "Do what?" And she said, "Punish kids tomorrow for something that happened today." And I was shocked. And I said, "Well, how do you get them to do what you want?" And she said, "I'm not forcing them to go inside. I'm just staying close until they finish up. Then they will go inside." Wow. In the moment, I thought, this really is a progressive center because that is not how things are done in no nonsense public schools. But as I reflected on this interaction, I realized that the public school approach implied a lack of trust in children to come inside when they are ready. We typically blame the schedule, saying there isn't enough time to let a few students stay outside. Or we would argue that this would lead to chaos and all children would demand to stay outside for as long as they wanted. Or we would simply say that we were training them to be obedient and to follow directions, skills they would need when they entered the real world. But what we would never say is that we didn't trust the children. We didn't trust in their decision to spend more time working on whatever they were working on. We didn't trust that they were not being intentionally defiant, but instead were so engaged they simply weren't ready to move on. And we didn't trust that allowing them more time would not cause a mutiny the next day when we signaled a transition to return to the classroom. Spoiler alert, there was no mutiny the next day. Laura, their teacher, trusted them and was not trying to force them to do what she wanted, but instead stayed nearby as they concluded their activity. Her co teacher was in the room with the other kids, so there was no problem with her staying outside with them a little longer. The problem was only in my perception. I thought she was telling them to go inside. I thought they were not listening, but my perception was wrong. And I learned so much from acknowledging how wrong my thinking was in that moment. So, how about you? How does mistrust show up in the schedules, transitions, and behavior management? How does your perception often include of lack of trust? Once you begin to interrogate how mistrust shows up in your daily interactions with children, you are ready to let go of the inclination to mistrust and learn to trust the young children in your care. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you want to delve deeper into trust? There's still time to join my mini reflective course titled Repairing Early Childhood Education and Care, Begin with Trust. Subscribe today for $10 per course and get 7 days free access to the course. That includes the reflective workbook, the pre recorded lesson, and the live guided discussion I'm hosting on Wednesday, July 29th at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Scan the green QR code on your screen to join my community today.